Attacking someone is not good unless they deserve it. Aiden, and this is the VG Punk channel. I'm starting a series where I give tips and tricks that I've learned over my years of playing this damn game. I use most of these myself, and I can guarantee you that high level players use them as well. For this series, I'm gonna assume you know at least the basic rule of the game. What I will attempt to do is create a foundation for you and build it up. But without a solid foundation, you will just crumble, you fucking leaning Tower of Pisa. A commonality between all these tricks and tips is that they come in many shapes and form. It's like asking different questions that have similar answers. So you're gonna have to use your critical thinking and think about it quickly while you're playing.
What do you do successfully? Quickly.
Disclaimer. Unless stated otherwise, assume all the cards are vanilla units with basic stats and basic effects for this video. And by basic effects, I mean like boost, twin drive, etc. When you are attacking, you have to take into consideration many things. Your opponent's hand and their damage zone, maybe your hand and your damage zone. Most of the time, you would attack until your opponent's at 6 damage. From damage 1 through 4, it doesn't really matter outside of a few niche scenarios that you're gonna have to navigate through based on what deck you are playing. What happened after damage number 4 is what we're gonna be focusing on today. So the scenario is you are starting your battle phase and the opponent is at 4 damage. You have at least 3 attack, 2 of the rear guards and 1 of the Vanguard. Without considering special effects, which attack would be the most pressure inducing to the opponent? The Vanguard attack is the correct answer. Why? Like the 2 rear guards, the Vanguard will only deal 1 damage. However, the Vanguard can do drive checks or twin drive. Most decks have crit triggers in their main deck, so there's a chance of getting it and deal 2 damage instead of 1. If that happened, the opponent will go from 4 to 6 damages and lose. But the same way that you don't know what's on top of your deck, maybe, the opponent also doesn't know, hopefully. The risk calculation will be up to them. As the aggressor, you do not have to worry about the risk calculation. It will be the opponent's mistake to make if they guard wrong and miscalculated. A crit trigger is detrimental when the opponent is at 4 damage, because even if they're able to fully protect themselves against the Vanguard attack, you can give it to the rear guard. Thus, the rear guard will now attack with higher power and an extra crit on top of what they already have. So same idea, but now the rear guards will have it. And if the opponent is at 4 damage, they will have to guard against that attack too, because that attack also means death to them.
Death to all of them.
Now, if you get 2 critical trigger for your twin drive, let's say, the same idea will also goes. You give 1 to rear guard, 1 to the other rear guard, and both of the rear guard attack also mean death. You may ask, wouldn't attack with 1 of the rear guard and then the Vanguard produce the same pressure without the need of specifically getting a critical trigger? The answer is no. The same way you could get triggered during your drive check, the opponent could get triggered during their damage check, which will increase their Vanguard attack for the rest of your turn. At that point, it will be easier for the opponent to protect themselves against the rest of your attack, and their risk calculation is lowered. Thus, the less chance of them making a mistake, and we like it when our opponent make mistakes. In conclusion, if your opponent is at 4 damage and your Vanguard is able to attack, there's a good chance that attacking with the Vanguard will put pressure on the opponent because of the possibility of you getting a critical trigger during the drive check or the twin drive. If this is a lot for you to think about, just know you'll have to make that decision in less than 30 seconds in a game. Of course, I don't expect people to be able to execute this perfectly overnight. It's different depending on your situation, but this is the default thought process for when your opponent is at 4 damage. A deck that I think would execute this trick pretty well is actually Greedon, one of my favorite decks, because I don't care about the rear guards attacking, my rear guard tend to be the last thing to attack, so I often attack with the Vanguard first. And if they're at 4, I attack with the Vanguard the first time, restand the Vanguard, attack it with the second time. That's a lot of pressure. I hope this is helpful for your journey on being better at Cardfight Vanguard. Subscribe and check out my other video where I'm not as nice as I am in this video. Like the video if you find it helpful. Whether you're a beginner or a veteran player, comment and feel free to ask me a question. It's most likely going to pertain specifically to a deck that you play or want to play in a niche situation, but that's okay. I will try to the best of my ability to answer your question, but just know I don't know everything and I don't know the niche situation of every deck. With that, I'm gonna end it here. Remember to take care of yourself, and I'm gonna see you real soon, my love.